I know. You guys are sick of talking about edge rushers just as much as you're sick of talking about the Jamison Williams suspension. But we got to do it because that's where we are in the offseason. Plus, it allows for us to have pretty good conversation as to what we think our team needs. Now, I am aware that we have a pretty decent defensive line. When it comes to defensive end, our defensive tackles, still, we have yet to see what's going to come out of that. I myself believe that even with the return of Charles Harris and Romeo Okwara, that we need some dogs on that line. We need some dogs on that line. So I'm not opposed to the Detroit Lions going out to trade for Chase Young or signing a Yannick Ngakoue in free agency. The issue with Chase Young is the currency, the capital that would cost and to acquire him. And the issue with Yannick is he wants a multi-year deal after this will be his sixth team in 6 years. So there's been another name on the market who is still a free agent, been in the league quite a while, and I'm sure you know from the thumbnail, but this is Melvin Ingram. Now, here's what Heavy on Lions has to say about the advantages of the Lions signing Ingram. Now, you're going to have to forgive the ads. They are ridiculous. Pretty annoying. It says at 34, Ingram might not be the true difference maker the Lions need to make a leap with their pass rush, but the veteran offers a couple advantages over other options. To acquire Young, the Lions may have to give up a day 2 draft pick and a quality depth player. Presumably, Detroit wouldn't do that without reassurance that Young would agree to a long-term deal. That is true. But without that reassurance, Young only benefits the Lions for 2023, just like Ingram would, and the Lions could add Ingram without having to trade away a player or draft capital. Then they go with Yannick Ngakoue, says, has been another popular rumor this offseason. Yannick told Sirius XM NFL Radio on June 2nd that he would really prefer to sign a long-term deal. And that's because, like I said, Yannick, who still has it, by the way, I don't know where people, he's washed. I think y'all being disrespectful. He coming off 10.5 sacks last year. He will be on his 6th team in 6 years. He wants to start a family. He wants to hunker down. And if I was bounced around the league, 6 different teams in 6 different years, I want to put my roots down as well. And I'm not sure Detroit is that place. We have our young core in place, and we're just going to keep building with that. I do believe Chase Young at 25 years old could be part of that young core. But let's take a look at Melvin Ingram's stats over his career. Drafted out of South Carolina in 2012, first round, 18th pick overall. He actually spent the first 9 years of his career with the San Diego Chargers. Then they became the Los Angeles Chargers. He was, I believe, cut in 2020 after the 2020 season. He spent the year with Kansas City, the 1 year they didn't win the Super Bowl. And then he spent the 2023 season with the Miami Dolphins. After that, his second to last year in LA, though, here's where it kind of gets, had a rough patch. No sacks after coming off 8, 10.5, 7, and 7. He gets, for the first time and only time in his career, wound up with no sacks at the end of the season. Got 1 his lone year in Kansas City and 6 last year with the Miami Dolphins. Now, I know how y'all feel about this pass rusher thing. We talk about it. We've been talking about it all off season. Do I think that Melvin Ingram is going to be signed by the Detroit Lions? I don't think so. But I will say that everything about this guy lines up with what the Detroit Lions do. What we know Brad Holmes especially does. And let me show you what I mean. Coming off, he's like in that mid to lower tier guy. You're not going to get a ton of production, but you might get just enough. But here's the thing to me that will make the difference. It would be a 1-year deal. He would be on his 3rd 1-year deal. But this is what really makes him fit with the Detroit Lions. For 2023, he had a base salary of $1,670,000. He got a signing bonus of 1.6. So you can say that's 3.2. And then a roster bonus of $600,000, which put him pretty much at $4 million for 1 year. That is why he would fit with our team. The other two options, Chase Young, you would have to pick up his contract, okay? And they opted out of his fifth year option, so he would be a 1 year rental. Trade capital, okay? And we couldn't get him. We would have to lock him up for at least another year. We've already discussed Chase Young. Yannick Ngakoue. Yannick Ngakoue is, as something feels like an eyelash is coming out of my eye, Yannick Ngakoue is going to be more costly than Melvin Ingram. He is younger, though. He's only 28 and coming off a crazy season. But he wants to put roots down. So that's going to be a multi-year deal. You know how hard it is for Brad Holmes to give multi-year deals out. The only free agent that I recall this offseason to get a multi-year deal was Cam Sutton. He got Cam Sutton, David Montgomery. Everyone else got 1 year deals. Alex Anzalone, he was already part of the team. Well, he was already part of the team. So the 1 year kind of niche is Brad Holmes. We're not going to sign Melvin Ingram to a multi-year deal, right? So sign Melvin Ingram. They got him for 3. We can get him for 2.5 to come to the Detroit Lions. Do I think the Detroit Lions would do this? I think they think like you right now, that their roster is pretty solid. Haven't really heard any rumors coming out from anywhere else in the past couple of weeks. So I would say they think they're pretty solid. I would say that if they cut someone before we start training camp, which is highly unlikely, then they would probably be bringing someone in. And don't forget, all the cuts now are going to happen from 53, not all the cuts, but from 90 to 53 are going to happen after the last preseason game, still by 2 o'clock, 4 o'clock on Tuesday after the last preseason game. So we really don't have the room, but we could sign him and then have to cut somebody once the signing is official. So do I think they're going to do this? No, but I wouldn't be surprised if they did, because he fits as far as production. He fits those guys, 1 year guys, those guys with something still left in the tank, like Isaiah Buggs, Alex Anzalone, something left in the tank, but you're not going to get like game-changing game records out of them. Get them on a 1 year deal that they serve their purpose. And I could see Melvin Ingram being that guy. But let me know what you think in the comments below. How would you feel if the Detroit Lions do decide to sign Melvin Ingram? Hey, Siri, how many days until September 7th, 2023?
It's 74 days until then.
We have 74 days into the NFL season. You guys are awesome. Take care of yourself and each other. And as always, go Lions.